All right, let's talk about something we've all experienced. Meetings that feel like you're running in place. We're gonna fix that. Today, we're opening up a precision toolkit designed to turn that chaos into clarity, helping you and your team make way better, smarter decisions. Let's get into it.
You know the feeling, right? You've been talking for an hour, the same ideas are just circling the drain, and you walk out of the room feeling more confused than when you walked in. It is so frustrating. But what if I told you there's a way to break that cycle? For good.
And that's really the big idea here. Making a fantastic strategic decision isn't some kind of magic trick or a lucky guess. No, it's about having a toolkit, knowing exactly which tool to pull out for which job, and using it right. And today, we're going to get your toolkit fully stocked.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with tools for generating a ton of creative ideas. Then, we'll shift to tools that help you analyze what the real problem is. After that, we'll look at techniques for actually choosing wisely from your options. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by seeing how to put these tools to work.
Okay, first things first. You can't pick the best choice if the best choice isn't even an option to begin with. So this first batch of tools is all about thinking wide, getting every single possibility, every wild idea out on the table before we even think about judging them.
And we have to start with the one we all know, brainstorming. You get in a room, you throw ideas at a whiteboard. No idea is a bad idea. It's awesome for creating energy and for letting ideas build on each other. But, and this is a big but, it can often be dominated by the loudest person in the room, which leads us to our next tool. This right here is the antidote to that loudest person problem. It's called the nominal group technique. Here, everyone gets quiet and writes down their own ideas first. Only then do you go around the room and share them one by one. It's a total game changer because it makes sure that brilliant idea from your quietest team member actually gets heard.
So this lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the spontaneous, verbal energy of brainstorming. On the other, the quiet, individual focus of the nominal group technique. The takeaway isn't that one's better than the other. It's about knowing what your team needs to get the best ideas out of them.
All right, what if you need to protect against groupthink even more? For those really high-stakes decisions, you've got the step-ladder technique. The whole point of this one is to make sure every single person's initial thoughts are pure and totally uninfluenced by the group's conversation.
Here's how it works. You start with just two people discussing the problem. Then you bring in a third person, but here's the crucial part. The new person shares their ideas before they hear anything from the first two. Then you discuss everything. Then you add a fourth person, and they share their ideas first. You keep repeating that, building this incredible pool of independent thinking.
Now, what if your team is spread all over the world, or you need to bring in outside experts? That's where the Delphi technique shines. It's basically a series of anonymous surveys. You ask a question, gather the answers, and then use that anonymous feedback to build the next round of questions. It's how you get raw, honest, expert opinions without any of the politics of a big meeting.
Okay, so you've got a mountain of great ideas. Awesome. Let's move to our next set of tools. It's time to switch gears from creating options to really understanding them. We need to dig deep, analyze the real problem, and start weighing what we've got.
First up for analysis is the fishbone diagram. And I gotta say, this is one of my absolute favorites because it forces you to stop and fall in love with the problem before you start chasing solutions. You write the main problem at the head of the fish, and then you brainstorm all the potential causes, the root causes, along the bones. So for instance, if your problem is project delays, you wouldn't just talk about being late. You'd create main bones for categories like people, process, or technology. Then you dig in. Under people, is it a lack of training? Under process, is there a bottleneck? It helps you map out the entire landscape of the problem.
So once you have a potential solution, you need a quick, powerful way to size it up. The PMI technique is just so simple and so effective. You just make 3 columns. Plus for the good stuff, minus for the bad stuff, and this is the secret sauce, interesting.
That interesting column is where the real strategic thinking kicks in. It's for the things that aren't obviously good or bad, but are consequences. You know, those unexpected ripple effects. It forces you to think beyond just pros and cons and explore what could really happen if you make that choice. All right, we've generated a ton of ideas, and we've analyzed them. Now it's the home stretch. It's time for the final step, making a choice. This last set of tools is all about taking that big list of options and narrowing it down to one final, confident decision.
So let's say your brainstorming session came up with 50 different ideas.
How on earth do you narrow that down without spending 3 days arguing? Easy, multi-voting. You just give everybody a few votes, say 5 dots, and let them put those dots next to their favorite ideas on the list.
It's just a super fast, democratic way to take the temperature of the room. The goal isn't to find the one winner right away. It's to instantly see which 2 or 3 ideas have the most heat, the most energy behind them, so you know what's actually worth discussing in more detail. It's just so efficient.
Now for a tool that is all about working smarter, not harder. It's called Pareto analysis, but you probably know it as the 80-20 rule. The idea is so simple but so powerful. Most of the time, about 80% of your problems are coming from just 20% of the causes.
This right here, this 80-20 principle, is your key to getting maximum impact with minimum effort. Instead of trying to fix 100 little things, Pareto analysis helps you find the vital few things that, if you fix them, will solve most of your issues.
And when you actually chart it out, it becomes crystal clear. You'll see a chart that looks just like this, where a couple of really tall bars are causing most of the trouble. Your job? Focus all your energy on those tall bars. That's how you get the biggest bang for your buck.
So there you have it. We've gone all the way from generating wild ideas to digging deep into the analysis and finally to making a clear, focused decision. You now officially have a powerful, versatile decision-making toolkit ready to go.
Just remember these 3 big phases. First, you go wide. Use tools like brainstorming or the nominal group technique to generate all your options. Second, you go deep. Use a fishbone diagram or a PMI to really understand the problem. And third, you focus. Use multi-voting or Pareto analysis to finally make the call.
So, from now on, every big decision you have to make isn't a problem, it's an opportunity to use your new skills. The next time you walk into one of those big meetings, you won't just have an opinion, you'll have a process, you'll have your toolkit. So the only real question is,